Shamaya, you did it.
STL Music.
Is that good? Welcome back to the show. Yo, listen up, we back in the game. Sweep the league, we got the flame. Motivated to the fullest every single day. We wake up, get it in every way. Working the two in the global inspiration. Talk this sports and top news, no hesitation. Sweep the league is back. We always coming back, that's a fact. Wanna tell them that. STL Music, mama, we did it. Where we at? Coach Jill in the house with the flow so tight. Every girl, rubber rocks, that's we unite. Yeah, the best show, Monday through Friday. If this ain't different, they lying. We got the energy. When I say sweep, you say the league. Sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league. San Antonio, let's go. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. San Antonio, let's go.
Hey, it's Rain Fernandez, and you're watching Sweep the League. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and Facebook at Rain Fernandez, RAYNE Fernandez.
Hi, it's Sherilyn, and you're watching Sweep the League TV. Follow me on Instagram at official Sherilyn for more content.
Hey, this is George Iceman Gervin, and you're listening to Sweet the League Radio.
Sweep the league TV where legends collide. If the Cowboys fall short, we'll still ride the tide. Like Jordan in the clutch or Brady's last play. We bring the fire, keeping fans in the fray. Coach Gio and Rudy calling the shots. With Derek Gervin straight Hall of Fame thoughts. So hit that subscribe, don't sit on the bench. Get in the game, every highlight's intense. The live stream's on, tell your friends don't delay. Like Kobe in the fourth, we're here to play. Sweep the League TV, where greatness resides. From the blogs at the drive, till the odds on the rise. We're all in on sports, NBA, CFB, and more for fans. By fans, it's the show you'll adore.
Like, we have to always be extraordinary.
You have to have money, but you can't ask for money because that's crass. You have to be a boss, but you can't be mean. You have to lead, but you can't squash other people's ideas. You're supposed to love being a mother, but don't talk about your kids all the damn time. You have to be a career woman, but also always be looking out for other people. You have to answer for men's bad behavior, which is insane, but if you point that out, you're accused of complaining. You're supposed to stay pretty for men, but not so pretty that you tempt them too much or that you threaten other women, because you're supposed to be a part of the sisterhood, but always stand out and always be grateful. But never forget that the system is rigged, so find a way to acknowledge that, but also always be grateful. You have to never get old, never be rude, never show off, never be selfish, never fall down, never fail, never show fear, never get out of line. It's too hard, it's too contradictory, and nobody gives you a medal or says thank you. And it turns out, in fact, that not only are you doing everything wrong, but also everything is your fault.
I'm just so tired of watching myself and every
Single other woman tie herself into knots so that people will like us.
All right, welcome to Sweep the League. Rudy Campos Jr. You're going to be joined hopefully by Derek Gervin as well as Coach Gio here in a little bit. As you saw, that is a tribute for today being National Girl and Women's in Sports Day. We've all been able to work with women in sports. I know I have. It's been a blessing working with them, and you've got to show some love to them. They are definitely all hardworking reporters, broadcasters, commentators, as well as the athletes themselves, WNBA players. I mean, you've got, women in sports overall. So very much appreciative to every woman that's out in the sports world right now. Like I said, whether it be commentating, broadcasting, or actually playing the sports. So yeah, I've been lucky enough to interview some really great women in sports. Summer Sanders is one that I can remember offhand. I've been able to talk to Jill Jelnick before. We've had her in studio before, all the way to Megan Price, who covers the WNBA. She's also on a radio show up in the Lubbock area, I believe Amarillo or Lubbock area. Just a lot of great women that I've worked with in the past, and I've been able to talk to as well. So shout out to all of them out there. Keep doing what you're doing. You are working hard. We all see it. Keep up the great work here. As Greg said, it's going to be a Wednesday night, Wacky Wednesday edition of Sweep the League. Waiting to see if Coach Gio, when he jumps on here, he'll be on just a little bit. Derek Irvin's working on his stuff right now, so hopefully he'll be able to get on. Let's see. Let me see if I can get him back on here, because I want him to talk about the Kevin Durant deal as well. Well, not deal, but the Jimmy Bucket deal, as well as the Kevin Durant rumors that are going out there. Also, De'Aaron Fox had his Spurs debut tonight. Let us know in the chat how you feel, how he did. He was probably the best player on the court for the Spurs tonight. We're not going to overreact to a 1-point win. I see some people in the chat already here. Harry Austin, is this where everyone overreacts to a 1-point win? No, we don't really overreact here at all. So trust me on that, Harry. We don't overreact to anything here on Sweep the League. We kind of keep it as real as possible. So definitely the way we work here. Rudy is the anti-skip minutes, a hero we need in this era. Spurs basketball. Man, we keep it real, brother. We keep it real. We're not gonna dog on the Spurs. We're not gonna crap on them, but we're also not gonna put them on a pedestal either. We keep everything 100% here, and that's how we've always done it here on Sweep the League. So appreciate you joining us here tonight, Harry. Laughing my ass off, Harry, as a dog. Hey, Leha, shout out to Leha MCS General Contracting. Anything you need for general contracting needs, pouring that concrete, getting the driveway ready, or you know what, if you're on a business and you need to get that parking lot fixed, contact Leha and the boys over at MCS General Contracting. Why was the game too close for Atlanta? Is defense still an issue? We're going to get into that here in a little bit. Jeff, shout out to Locked On Spurs, and also Jimmy. Leha, that Jimmy trade feels like it was a 10-team deal. Yeah, getting the details of that is tricky in itself, man. We'll just say that it was pretty darn tricky. I'm gonna mess with this layout real quick. There we go. I feel like I was max headroom here on the stream. Waiting to see if we can get Coach Gio here just a little bit. I think Derek's having a little bit of problems with his phone, so we're gonna work through that. But nonetheless, tonight, the debut of De'Aaron Fox with the San Antonio Spurs. 126-125. Wemby intentionally missed a free throw at the end, basically kind of eliminating the game. Trae Young did shoot a half-court shot, didn't really come close to it on all. But prior to the game, De'Aaron Fox did have a message to the fans very briefly. Plus, he did talk about reasons for being in San Antonio. Let's get into that real quick here.
What's up, Spurs fans? I'm happy to be in San Antonio. I'll see you guys Wednesday. And obviously, we don't have a home game for a while, but I'll see you then. Go Spurs, go. I'm extremely excited. I think that was the big thing for me was I needed a new start, especially in an organization like this who has won championships, who's built such a winning culture. It just feels a little bit different. And obviously with the team that they have right now and the young talent that they have right now, I felt like this is a great opportunity for me and for me to come in and help a team win.
Bringing on the coach himself. He's you're fine, man. I know you were resting your eyes there. Don't worry about it, man. It's radio and talk show. We can do whatever we want here. This is your show, my show, man.
Yeah, no, I put my head down and I was like, am I falling asleep on the show?
There's nothing wrong with falling asleep. Coach Gio joined us. I think Derek's having a little bit of issues. After the show, I'm going to talk to Derek, see if I can get that worked out for him. Spurs end up winning in De'Aaron Fox's debut tonight, 126-125. We did see De'Aaron Fox start alongside Chris Paul. Kind of like that lineup there. You saw him get off to a super fast start. Atlanta came back, with a furious onslaught in that third quarter. Kind of been the Achilles heel for the Spurs all season is that third quarter. They come out of the locker room really sluggish and all. But they were able to maintain the lead. They ended up beating the Hawks, as we mentioned, 126-125. De'Aaron Fox, 24 points, 13 assists, 3 steals in his Spurs debut. Victor still under the weather, didn't have a really good game, but did come up clutch in certain parts of the game. Got a big block on Dominic Barlow, former Spur. Great Dominic Barlow. And, of course, the free throw situation, as you saw. But, Gio, De'Aaron Fox's debut as a Spur, I'm not overreacting to a 1-point win. In fact, a win's a win at this point. I don't really care. I saw some more issues within the team, that I'm not liking still. But, again, You're never going to apologize for winning. What do you think of the debut by De'Aaron Fox?
I mean, pretty good. I mean, the guy just got traded, and he's put him almost just about his average. 13 assists is great. I mean, really, if he's not there, Spurs probably don't win that game. I mean, who else is going to give you those points, at least consistently a night? And look, he had a good game. So a win is a win, Rudy. And we talk about the playoff seeding. The Spurs just got to find a way to win games. I don't care if it's by 1 point, 2, 3, 50, whatever the case may be. You got to win games to try to get into that play-in. So this is a good start.
Yeah, very good start. As you can say, 24 points, 5 rebounds, 13 assists, 3 steals for De'Aaron Fox at a 126-125 victory over Atlanta. Getting to one of the comments here, Jeff from Locked On Spurs. Obviously, shout out to Locked On Spurs. Jeff Garcia says, Rudy, why was the game too close versus Atlanta? Is defense still an issue? Honestly, yeah. I mean, you saw the defense on that side of the ball. I'm not going to really comment on whether the defense was bad tonight. It didn't look good in the second half. The first half looked really good. They were looked on par. Everything looked good. Coming out of the locker room, again, you saw that third quarter struggle by the Spurs. And I think they were outscored 43-31 in that third quarter, differential of 12 points. So I'm not gonna overreact to the defensive side of the ball on this one. I'm just gonna say that it's game 1 of the Fox era. It's going to take a couple more games to kind of get this rotation down, kind of see where players fit. I think it's safe to say you're not going to overreact to the defensive side of the ball right now, even though it did look bad in the second half. I think it's too early to overreact on that.
Well, as I said yesterday, who really plays defense anyway? I mean, these days guys are letting Olay every 5 seconds. You definitely don't want to score or give up 125 points, but hey, you got the win, so. Pop comes back. Maybe Pop can stress a little bit more defense, but
De'Aaron didn't really play that bad on the defensive side of the ball. The game was close. You had Victor, who he put up 24 and 12 tonight. Had 2 blocks, 1 block, and defense wasn't a. I don't know. I'm. Let's put it this way: they won the game. Congratulations. Can you really get a good judgment off of the Atlanta Hawks? The Hawks lost Jalen Johnson for the season. They're not one of the better teams anymore. They don't have to have a fast start. You're talking about a depleted Hawks team. So you can say, well, depleted Hawks team, they're on a bad losing streak, and the Spurs only beat them by 1. Spurs look bad. They look terrible. But then you look at the other side of the spectrum. Hey, Fox's first game, Spurs got the win. This is what I'm talking about. Get the W. How do you measure it? How would you measure it?
Well, you take the good in with the bad, Rudy, and you kind of average it out. Look, not every game is going to be perfect. You're going to have games where you're better on defense, maybe better on scoring. At this point, Rudy, in the second half of the season, you got to just win games. If you want to go where you want to get to, at least in the postseason, winning games, of course, you want to play better defensively. But Fox did what he needed to do tonight, Rudy. I can't say the same for some of the other guys.
Yeah, and I was hoping that the Spurs would win this game and not blow it, knowing that they still have Atlanta's 2025 pick. So any win over the Hawks is a good one for San Antonio. Nonetheless, 126-125. Spurs did win tonight. Are we overreacting to the win? Nah, we never do. We don't overreact to Spurs wins at all. You just got to win. Was it George Steinbrenner? Just win? No, that's Al Davis. Just win, baby. That's all
just win, baby.
Al Davis. Win, baby. Leja's in here. Wemby is gassed as hell, bringing another big now. I kind of miss Dominic Barlow. I saw him on the court tonight. I'm like, tear coming down my eye. We could have kept Dominic Barlow. I wouldn't have minded Dominic Barlow staying in the black. Was it me or did Fox feel like he had been Spur for a while? Gio, that's a good thing. Surprisingly, yeah. For me, I felt like he had been part of the Spurs, part of the roster for a long while. But considering the fact that, don't forget, his wife's from San Antonio, her family's from San Antonio, and he's from Katy, you got to imagine he probably spends a lot of the off season probably in Texas. So he probably plays pickup with a few of these guys already. So it's not like he probably doesn't know them already. Again, I'm speculating. I don't have sources. I'm not big time in anything, so I don't have sources. But I'm just speculating the fact that he probably does pick up ball in San Antonio a couple times with these guys. So yeah, I mean, the chemistry looked good. I'm gonna put it this way: chemistry looked good.
Well, really, it just shows how versatile he is, right? What type of player he is. What's the makeup? He came in there and really he looked pretty good starting early with a guy who didn't have much experience, obviously, with this team being traded. But I like what I saw in the time he played, and um, I think the sky is the limit. He's going to get a lot of opportunities to score.
Yeah, yeah, he is. I think we'll go with what Michael Jordan said in UNC, right? The roof is the limit, or the ceiling is
Hey,
something.
I forgot to ask you, Rudy, what was the score of that Duke game against North Carolina?
Yeah, as we move on to Harry Austin's comment here, we don't talk about that 4-letter school in North Carolina very much anymore.
Well, you got Bill Belichick, Rudy. Mac Brown is gone after a very odd. I don't know if he was fired midway through the year or he wasn't fired. I don't know. But Bill Belichick's there in North Carolina. It's gonna. Would you have ever thought, Rudy, in your wildest dreams, not to change subjects, that Bill Belichick would be your head coach?
I never would have thought that. Hell, the guy bought pizzas for all the fraternities, for all the frat houses at North Carolina for this past
I think he's
weekend's
gonna
game.
have a good time. How many games they win? I mean, they still got a pretty decent roster there. I think he can. I think he'll be able to do something there, Rudy. I really do think it may take some time, but I think there's potential there.
You know what? I'm going to get off the Fox, and we'll get back on the NBA in a second here. I got to ask you this because you brought it up. Do you think Bill takes a chill pill in college and isn't as hard on his players as he was in the NFL?
I think so. I think Bill knows, and Bill can take a page off of a good friend that he coached with him in the early years of Nick Saban when they were in Cleveland. I mean, Rudy, we saw what Nick Saban went to the NFL. What happened? It didn't work out too well. Even though he went 8-8, though he didn't have Drew Brees. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get him. But if Nick Saban gets Drew Brees, Rudy, it's possible that he never goes to Alabama. But off to Bill, I think just take a step back. These are young. I mean, Rudy, these are young kids coming in, man. This is a different league, but also NIL's there. So I'm interested to see what Bill does in college because it's like a complete reverse. I would love to see also John Gruden in college as well. I think that would be a reporter's dream or journalist's dream to be interviewing John Gruden with these college games.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of crazy. I was asked the other day because Bill, obviously his girlfriend is super, super young. Is the possibility greater or less that he cheats on her in college now that he's had a young woman in his life for a while? And I'm like, I don't know if I can go that route. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. Bill's got, a second wind in life and surrounded by college women.
Well,
I don't know.
I think Bill will stay in this lane. That whole thing's also another thing.
We're not going to get another doorbell cam go off at another lady's house.
I remember when I saw that on X, and I'm like, wait, who is that? That guy looks real familiar. Oh, wait, it's Bill Belichick.
Yeah. Looking more fit than I've ever looked. That's for damn sure. So, yeah, we'll get into more Bill Belichick talk here. Harry's in here. He says, is it the defense or the poor shot selection, the missed shots? With him saying that deserves a sweep the league round of applause because that's exactly it was a shot selection. I mean, the shot selection for the Spurs tonight wasn't great at all. Keldon was 1 for 4 from the field. He had a bad game. Stephon Castle, 3 of 9. I'm going through some of the, shots here. We're talking now. De'Aaron was 11 for 22, shot 50% from the field. Victor was 8 of 15. Okay, I mean, it was kind of like the bench. When the bench came in is when you kind of started to see a little bit of it go. But I applaud Harry on that comment because, yeah, definitely, I think it was a shot selection. Rudy, I thought Fox and all the players involved in the deal knew days before he was traded, and the Bulls were not involved, and it was a 6-team deal. I remember reading, Gio, that the original trade was like 6 teams, I think, and
Who is Jeff talking about? Can we get a name, Jeff?
I mean, if Jeff wants to drop a name, he can definitely drop a name.
I'm just
I'll put it
kidding.
on
I'm
the
just
screen.
I think I have an idea.
You
But
probably
no,
do, but
but you know, 6 I mean, yeah, that's what I was hearing, right? A
well,
6-team deal.
that's what was reported. So, yeah, well, yeah. Is this when you use the air quote? That was what
Yeah.
was reported. Was a 6-team deal, and that players were being notified ahead of time that the trade was going down. Yada 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 yada. And then it came out that De'Aaron Fox himself was like, "No, this isn't true. This isn't true. This is what happened." I found out February 2nd. They came into my room and said, basically, my hotel room, "Hey, you're going to be traded to the San Antonio Spurs." And yeah, so be careful who you follow out there and stuff. I mean,
Look, everyone, just take a page off of. I always say what Denzel Washington said. Don't just be first, just be right.
just be right.
Just
There you
be
go.
right. It's not always about being first because really we see it on especially X. People just say a bunch of things and just see what sticks. Just be right. You don't always have to be first.
I couldn't put it any better, man. That's why you are the coach, and that's why you're here on Sweep the League. You're right. That's funny because people had asked me, Joe, why don't you report what you know? Like, because I don't have facts behind it. I hear stuff, but it's hearsay. It's rumors.
Why does
Even if I
everybody
drop the
want to?
source.
What's the thing? Why does everybody want to like have a? It's like really saying, "Hey, I don't have anybody. Like, I'm not gonna make something up."
Thank
Like,
you.
why? Oh, I have a source or this, dude. It's okay if you don't have a source. That's okay. Just say your opinion. What's gonna happen? If it happens, great. If it doesn't, listen. Derek sat here before the season. It was probably the summer, and he says, "Hey, I think De'Aaron Fox is gonna be a Spur." Derek did it. Derek's not in there.
He didn't say think. Exact words, and we can go all the way back.
Okay, well, think.
Derek's words were De'Aaron Fox will be a San Antonio Spur. That was pre-draft. We talked about it during the draft because we were like, why aren't they drafting a point guard? They needed to go rob. No. Why draft a point guard? De'Aaron Fox will be a Spur. Now, those are his exact words. So apparently you're going to get sued, man. Jeff said he's going to sue you. I have no idea for what.
Well, look, I mean, I didn't say anything incriminating. I just say I might have an idea of who that was, but
Defamation of character? Is that what you would get sued for? Is that the lawyer term?
something like that.
It is.
All
right. Well,
I'll
sue me for
just
what?
go
I
get
don't know.
OJ's lawyer. That's all.
Is any of them still alive?
Actually, never mind. I think most of them are dead. And Johnny Cochran, God rest his soul, he is dead, I believe.
I think Cochran is Shapiro. Is Shapiro alive?
And the
Well,
Kardashian.
Kardashian passed.
Yeah, he passed.
Lee, well, good luck on that, man. Good luck.
I'll get the same lawyer from. Never mind. I'm not gonna bring up Hernandez, but I'll leave it at that.
Wow. Yeah, no, stop that. I'm just saying I confirmed Fox to San Antonio an hour before everyone else. Go peep my tweets. Leha did. He confirmed it an hour before everybody else. And he had his quote unquote A1 sauces that were giving him his information. And Puerto Blue Devils Tar Heels still suck. Well, apparently they sucked him. They lost this past weekend, unlike the San Antonio Spurs, who did win 126-125 over the Atlanta Hawks. In game, Gio, De'Aaron Fox was talking to ESPN in game. Here's what he had to say about his in-game performance so far.
It feels great. I mean, playing with all these young guys, one, they make me feel old, but then we come out here and they're all dunking. Then I feel like I'm young again. So I think we had a great first quarter, so it's going well.
Overall, man, great debut. Can't complain. What are your thoughts on De'Aaron Fox's final thoughts on De'Aaron Fox's first game as a Spur? Again, there's no overreaction here. They won by a point. They got to win. Big deal. Did they look bad? They didn't look great. He looked pretty good. But again, the team collapsed in the second half, which is what we've seen all year. So Not going to overreact to a 1-point win. I'm not going to say that was bad. It was da. What are your last thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, Rudy, but you are who you are, and the Spurs have not been a great second half team, and it showed its face here today again. The Spurs just have to continue to improve on that aspect. But look, a win is a win. And really, as we get closer by the month, the Spurs just got to find ways to win, whether it's by 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever the case may be. But it was good to see Fox out there compete. I mean, Rudy, 13 assists. I'll take that. I mean, some guys just obviously scoring tonight. We did see Vassell with 20. So, hey, good way to show up. And I can't wait to when he's back in San Antonio.
That's going to be fun. We got to wait a little while because they're on this rodeo road trip. Which I want to ask you on this rodeo road trip thing. Is it, and I shout out to, I think it's Baseline Bums podcast. I saw a clip of it and it got me thinking, is it time for the rodeo road trip to just end? I mean, during this time frame, you can have games in the Alamo Dome. There's nothing going on in the Dome. So why are you still doing these 9-game road trips? And, to me, it's old news. Now, when they get the new arena built, more than likely, it's not going to happen anymore. But why not throw 3 games in there at the Alamo Dome during that time? I mean, you don't have to sell the dome out. Just have home games. You think it's time for them to end the rodeo road trip?
Yeah, it's to me. Oh no, is people going to the rodeo, Rudy? Is that a big thing?
I have not been since I was like 4, so I can't tell you.
Rudy isn't a true Texan anyway, but
I'm a little bit. I eat the food.
I'm just kidding.
I just don't participate in rodeo shit.
No, I listen. I think it would be good to have an Alamo, a tribute to the Alamo every year for a few games. Rudy, didn't they have a game in Austin a few years ago?
Yeah, they did. I think they played a couple games in Austin. I think it was last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay. So you can also do that as well. I mean, why go on the road for 9 games? I just think it's a bit much. And I mean, players play better at home in general, but 9, 10 games in a row, really, just play in Austin. Is it that bad? And they don't want to play in Austin? I mean, geez.
Or like I said, or the Dome. I mean, just go play a couple of games in the Dome, get a couple, maybe 3 home games, do 5 on the road, 3 at home. But rodeo road trip, it's not even needed anymore. I don't buy their whole rodeo road trip crap anymore. Talking to Coach Gio about the De'Aaron Fox debut for the San Antonio Spurs. Again, New York Spurs won 126-125 over Atlanta. De'Aaron Fox was the best player on the court tonight. 24 points, 13 assists, 3 steals, 5 rebounds in his debut for the San Antonio Spurs. Things are looking bright for San Antonio, but I think we might have ruffled a few feathers. Last night we were kind of saying pump the brakes. Even our buddy Derek Irvin was like, hey, you know what? Spurs are going to still be that. They're going to be good. They're going to be, a lot better. But it still feels like something's missing for me. I don't know about you. Do you think maybe that they still have that deadline tomorrow? Do you still think they got to move? And it's probably not going to be KD, but what do you think a move could be made that we may see?
Well, Derek wasn't a big fan of the KD trade. I still think Kevin Durant, as versatile as he is, could do a lot of different things. But yeah, I mean, they're both giants. Rudy, I'm not 100% sure. I do think they need something out. If they really want to make a run here, Rudy, and I use the word run lightly, like not a championship run, but if you want to potentially get to the postseason and maybe do some damage a little bit, I do think you need another piece, Rudy. I do think, and you can exchange some of the pieces. Possible, a big man, an actual another scorer. Because listen, the defense is the defense. Whatever you want to say, we just got to outscore teams at this point. I don't know who it is, Rudy, but would love another addition at this spot, whether it's at center to help out Wemby in the post there, because Wemby likes to just stay off the post and just shoot jump shots, but I don't know.
Well, we know one guy that's definitely off the board that is heading out west now is going to be Jimmy Butler. So basically, here's the trade broken down. It was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was a 6-team. people were talking about a 6-team trade with the Spurs a while back about how the Bulls and basically it was a trade between the Spurs, the Kings, the Bulls, the Tropics. I mean, it was just every team you could imagine in there, the Rio Grande Valley Rangers and all this other stuff. Austin Spurs were in there somewhere. It was a 6-team mega deal for De'Aaron Fox, but nonetheless, we got a 6-team deal for Jimmy Butler. Breaking it down, Warriors get Jimmy Butler. The Heat get Andrew Wiggins, PJ Tucker, protected first. The Detroit Pistons get Lindy Waters and Josh Richardson, who I like Josh Richardson going to Detroit. I think that makes a lot of sense for them. Jazz get Dennis Schrader. Raptors get Kyle Anderson. So finally, we got our 6-team deal that was supposed to happen a long time ago. Butler to the Warriors. I don't think it moves the needle for me at all. Honestly, even if KD went to go back to Golden State, it wouldn't have moved the needle for me at all.
I would have. It would have moved more than Jimmy, though.
You think so?
Yeah, because I think Durant's having a really good year, and to me, Rudy, Jimmy, where's his mind at? Because that ultimately, I think, is what this. Where's his mind? Is he really in sync? Because Rudy, what has he been doing? He's been, I want to go here. I don't want to go there. He's been kind of playing ring around the rosy and really testing Pat Riley. He doesn't want to sign, do this and that. So he's been going back and forth. Where's his mind at? Because the Warriors, they need Jimmy. They need Jimmy right now. This is the team that needs him to get an opportunity to playoffs, and Jimmy's not really in it. Also, Rudy, what's his cap hit? Would it be $60 million next year?
So he agreed to an extension with Golden State for a 2-year, $121 million extension. So $60.5 million is where it's going to be.
Honestly, though, dude, in Miami, Rudy, there's no state income tax. Dude, a lot of his money is getting taxed in San Francisco, which is another issue. But yeah, I don't. It doesn't really turn the needle. I mean, are they going to be better and be maybe a little bit of a thorn to the Spurs if they just keep winning games with Jimmy? Sure, but Rudy, I don't know if this. When I saw it, I said, okay.
Yeah, I mean, nothing to fear.
If he goes back to NBA Finals run, Jimmy, okay, then you're talking, Rudy. But I don't know if that's what they're going to get, at least this year.
I don't think we get that at least in the Dome in February. That's what Tim's saying. You know, go to the Dome, play at the Alamo Dome. Don't go this rodeo road trip anymore. Derek Urban said on his video that maybe Spurs should go after LeBron James. We talked about that last night, the possibility of going after King James. And Derek's in the chat right now. Technical difficulties will be back. It'll be fixed tomorrow morning. So he said, this is crazy. Like I said, we're working on Derek with his difficulties on the technical side for his phone to get him back on the show. KD would have moved the needle. The defense has to account for him more than they do for Jimmy.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. I just don't think Jimmy really turns that needle. But like I said, Rudy, if this is finals run, Jimmy, where he had, I mean, a hell of a run, sure. But that's not what they're getting, at least this season.
So if you're looking at the lineup right now for Golden State, you're talking Steph Curry, Buddy Hield, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, and well, they've got Quentin Post listed at center. So I don't know if we're seeing. Honestly, they've got to be done making moves. I don't think they can make a trade for a big guy or anybody else in Golden State. So in essence, I mean, KD moves the needle scoring wise. Yeah. I mean, defenses have to have to figure who they're going to stop, KD or Steph. But with Jimmy there, I again, the Warriors team I think they got worse with the Jimmy trade, to be honest with you. Even if you got NBA Finals Jimmy buckets.
No, Rudy, come on. He was Rudy, if you go look at that run, it was pretty impressive.
It was impressive, but I mean, Steph and NBA Final Jimmy buckets. Is that enough to keep the Warriors in contention?
A decent shot.
Better than the Spurs?
As of right now, the Spurs aren't even in the playing game, Rudy.
Well, no, they're not. But again, we're not judging the Spurs off of one game.
No, I know. But I mean, it's all kind of contrary to what obviously happens on the court. We got to see what Jimmy does with the Warriors in the next few weeks. But like I said, Rudy, where's his mindset? Because he's been going back and forth. He hasn't been doing anything.
Yeah.
So
I don't know where the mind is for Jimmy Buckets. I really don't. I mean,
you started to remind me of like a little bit of Meta World Peace, but to more of like, because obviously Ron Artest was a really good player, and he did some things that were a bit questionable. But just don't know where his mind is, man.
We'll see what happens with Jimmy Buckets. He's on his way to Golden State. KD was a pretty good rim protector with the Warriors. He did play some defense there. That's why I think of the two, I'll say KD moves the needle. But again, they would have had to given up so much to get Kevin Durant. I mean, then you're talking about Jimmy going to Phoenix, Durant going to the Warriors, and then you've got those same players going to Miami. So KD and Steph, again, scoring wise, yeah, big time, big times. Defensively, KD can play defense, but I don't know if it is enough to keep the Warriors into that top contending spot right there. Jimmy will be fine. He got what he wanted. Yeah, he wanted out of Miami. So could we see, Jimmy Buckets just go super duper crazy in Golden State? I don't know. Gio feels that we can get NBA Finals Jimmy Buckets, and we'll see.
I mean, if you go look back, Freddie, he had a hell of a run.
Mm-hmm.
If he could turn back time, I mean, if he can give them 25-30 a night, Rudy, that can amount to something. But I just don't see that happening. It just doesn't turn the needle for me.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it doesn't really do much for me there. I think $60
million is just flat out.
That's the part I don't get. $60 million for Jimmy Buckets, $60.5 million for 2 years. I don't.
Now with taxes and everything, it's probably like 30 million, 25 or something, but still.
Yeah, exactly. And Derek said he got more money than he made in Miami. He got a raise. Yeah. He got a big time raise going to Golden State, man. That's for damn sure. Talking to Coach Gio here, Sweep the League. We're going to take our quick commercial break. On the way back, we have Shaquille O'Neal back on the show, making a comment about Kevin Durant and the possibilities of him possibly joining Dallas with Kyrie and Anthony Davis. Now, I mean, Dallas did give up Luka Doncic and don't have to pay him the max. They don't have to pay him a super max contract. So they've got some money and they've got some pieces that they could move on from. KD to the Mavericks. I don't know. We're going to see when we get back here on Sweep the League. Coach Gio, Derek Urban. Hopefully be back tomorrow. Rudy Campos Jr. will be back, guys.
Time to react, yeah, shift like a skate. Left, right, lean, that's a bucket in sight. Pull up mid, let it fly, no hype. Fourth quarter ice, keep the rock in my grip. When the clock go red, don't slip, I rip. Fast is allowed, yeah, the motor don't quit. Drop 30 quick, now they begging for a switch. Fox in the open, the lane look free, now allow that up. Win beat. And running no team, keep pace. Fox got gears, Wemby got grace. Hoop too high, man, you won't touch. New Spurs every year, time to rush. Speed too real, yeah, check that type. Defenders froze, now they stuck in place. Who gon' step, man, don't play dumb. Fast break done, that's 3.
So you turn off all the lights and shut the door. Hey, angel, what's your destination?
You are watching Sweep the League TV. Make sure you subscribe and catch our new videos.
Sweep the League TV with Rudy, Derek, and Coach Gio. Let's get back to the live show. You are watching the best in the business.
The Athletic is reporting right now that Dallas dreams of also bringing in Kevin Durant and going Kyrie, KD, AD. I just wanted your gut reaction because I know you haven't seen that yet.
I haven't seen that, but I have seen reports that the Suns are taking conversations about Kevin Durant. So with the move that we don't have to pay our boy our Supermax. I'm sure they got a lot of money floating around. So if they're putting it out there, it may can happen.
There you have the reaction from Shaquille O'Neal talking about the possibility of Kevin Durant joining Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving in Dallas. Talking to Coach Gio here, Derek Irvin. Hopefully, be back tomorrow. Rudy Campos Jr. again. Sweep the League comes to you Tuesday through Friday at 9 p.m. Be sure to go to our YouTube page. All you got to do is search Sweep the League TV, hit that subscribe button. Tons of great content. Sweep Unplugged. You've got Great in the Market. Also, don't forget about STL 316. I Am Refocused Radio. We just talked to Chris Myers, legendary broadcaster. Chris Myers joined Shemaya Reed on Refocused Radio. We've got a ton of content out there. So don't be left behind, guys. Shaq talking about KD to Dallas. Now that Jimmy's been traded, Gio, KD is on the block. He's out. He's out tonight. They injury is the reason why he's out. But we know that it's because the day before the trade deadline and he's on the table. Is Dallas probably the favorite right now to maybe land Kevin Durant?
Why not? You put KD there as kind of a rental, whatever the case may be. KD, Kyrie, Anthony Davis, all healthy. I mean, you already think that they could make noise.
Yeah.
Really, they add Kevin Durant to that. If all the stars align, they could be back in the finals again.
Would you immediately put them number one in the West?
No, simply because they still need time to gel, and we need to figure out. Obviously, they all stay healthy and just wait. You don't want to anoint someone too early, but they would have a golden opportunity because we talk about Oklahoma City when they have obviously last season had a really good year and they're still there. The Rockets, I don't trust them, Rudy, at least not yet in the playoffs. But the Lakers could be faulting after what happened with trading AD, getting Luka in. We'll see how that works out. The Clippers, yeah, but with that lineup, Rudy, if healthy, there's no doubt in my mind they can make definitely a deep run.
I think, yeah, you're right. Not crowning them as the best team in the West if they were to land Kevin Durant, because then you got to figure, what do they give up for Kevin? I mean, do they have to give up a Derek Lively? Do they have to give up, a Gafford or PJ Washington? I'm sure one of those guys would have to go. Do you move Klay Thompson to Phoenix? I mean, because we're writing them off. KD, Anthony Davis, and Kyrie. No mention of Klay Thompson. If Klay stays, Jesus Christ, that's shooting galore. I mean, you really can't double team anybody on that team right there because someone's going to be open, and they can all nail the three with ease if they're open. So I don't know, scale 1 to 10, 10 being guaranteed. What do you think it happens now that Jimmy's gone? There's no other plays. I mean, you're not going to trade Kevin Durant to Washington.
But didn't Kevin say he doesn't want to leave Phoenix?
He doesn't want to go, but what's the other reason? And they said he sprained his ankle last night. But what's the other reason for him sitting out tonight? A nationally televised game against Oklahoma City, the best team in the West. Is the ankle that bad where you're not at least attempting to play? I mean,
true.
To me, it makes no sense.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting where he lands. Obviously, he wants to be with a contender, right? So, Dallas, I mean, really, who else do you see throwing a dart at Kevin Durant? Do you think another team out west?
To be honest, I don't know. I mean, Houston?
Yeah, if you put him there with those young guys, they're going to have to give up someone, but that's a really good shot. Do the Clippers?
Man, I don't know. I mean, the thing is would Phoenix trade him to another West team that's already above them, like ahead of them.
Yeah,
Right
but
now,
if you
technically, Dallas is not in the play-in.
trade Durant, I mean, you probably know you're not going to be making too much noise in the playoffs.
I don't even know if you make the playoffs. If it's just Booker and Bradley Beal.
Just jacking up shots. I mean, I don't know if that's going to be, and even with Durant, Rudy, I don't know, that might not be enough either. So
Yeah.
I think Dallas makes a lot of sense. If you want to capture this 2-year window, Rudy, you maximize it, you go all in, and if the Mavericks win the championship, I mean, if they win the championship with no Luka, I have to say, you're a better man than me.
I will say that. Derek Gervin, OKC, Mavs, Nuggets, Lakers, Spurs. Those are his top 5 in the West right now. I talk to Derek pretty frequently, almost daily, actually. We talk daily most of the time. And I still can't see the Lakers up there. I know the Luka and LeBron. I'm still trying to convince myself that it's a good matchup. I just don't know. I think I put it in our group chat. I just don't know how long that they can coexist. I mean, the same type of player. I don't know. But OKC, Mavs, Nuggets, Spurs. I mean, Spurs are going to take a little bit more time. I think, for me, I would say OKC, Mavs. I like Memphis as well. Memphis is playing really, really well. They're gelling. They're doing really good, barring any injuries. I see Memphis being up there as well. Nuggets. I mean, Joker's not going to let them lose a whole bunch either. So I don't know. I mean, those are his top 5. We got Tim saying, what chances do the Nuggets make a move? I mean, they want to get off. They want to get away from Jamal Murray, but no one's going to take Jamal Murray right now. I seriously doubt anybody does. Do you think Nuggets make a move at all? If you had to take off the top of your head?
Well, if the Nuggets can get KD, that gives them a good shot too. Obviously, Murray. Should they ever assign him to that extension, Rudy?
No.
When they did that, I thought to myself, I don't know, man. I just don't see it.
I think it was success at the right time, and it just lightning in a bottle type stuff. Signed Jamal Murray to that big deal, and I mean, it's not horrible. He does play really well alongside.
No. He's contracts nowadays, Rudy, you have to look at them a little different. Because do you remember there was a 2 or 3 year run where everybody was getting extensions, man. It was like, you get $100 million, you get $100 million. I mean, Chandler Parsons, Rudy. I mean, really?
It's funny. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because Derek wanted to talk about something I'm going to talk to you about, and we'll talk to Derek again. He says the Lakers are the brains to make them hard to beat 4 times. Yeah, I mean, Luka and LeBron could be tough to beat 4 times. The Nuggets should be going after Jeremy Grant. Speaking of Chandler Parsons, Luol Deng, Keith Van Horn, all these guys got paid to just stay home. They got paid at home. They kept getting paid. I think Derek mentioned Luol Deng's contract ended last year or a couple of years ago, where he finally quit collecting money.
Well, yeah, the Lakers, they did one of those. What's that guy from the Mets?
Bobby Bonilla. It's Bobby Bonilla.
Day.
Is it July 1st or something?
Yeah, something like that. Ken Griffey, I believe, is still getting paid by the Reds.
Probably.
So speaking of the MLB, they need to do something about these freaking Dodgers. I'm getting sick of this, Rudy. These deferred contracts.
Yeah,
it needs to stop, and I think it will after the next. Once the baseball people meet up, I think it was next year or the following year.
Yeah,
Really, they have to do something. This deferred contract is just getting out of hand. I mean, and then the Mariners absolutely do nothing. Absolutely, owner steals money from the fans and then doesn't put anything back to the team. You sit there and tell me that you did everything you could in the offseason when you signed one guy. Don't even get me started about baseball. I won't talk about that another day. Sorry.
Isn't that similar to what Jerry Jones does?
At least Jerry's teams have made the playoffs.
True.
Mariners have one playoff appearance since 2001. One, Rudy. And we barely got in.
They've had some prospects too.
They've had the pitching is fine, but you can't score runs pitching, Rudy. This is the NBA. Like, defense turns into offense. Like, this isn't that. You need players, and right now Julio's out there with Kyle Raleigh, which is a really good player. But besides those two guys, it's just a bunch of 225, 210 guys.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to tell you other than that.
And Rudy, your team has won a bunch of World Series, so you're good.
Well, at least I can say I've been through World Series wins. I've been through NBA title wins. I've been through national championship wins with the Tar Heels basketball team. I guarantee you I'm going to die not ever seeing the Falcons win a Super Bowl ever in my lifetime.
I think Penix could. I mean, we'll see.
Stop.
But he's got competition because Jalen's not going anywhere with his running self.
Yeah.
Throwing the ball. And also you got Daniels with the Commanders. But there's an opportunity there though, Rudy.
Stop. You and Derek tried convincing me that this past year that they were, going to go and they were going to be a different team. And they're not. I told y'all they're not even going to make the playoffs.
Didn't you pick them though to win the NFC South? I swear you did.
At the beginning, when we went through the whole win thing, I think record-wise, I had them winning the South. No, I had the Buccaneers, I think, winning the South. If I'm not mistaken. I had them making the playoffs, though. I had the Falcons making the playoffs. But again, I didn't have any, and none of those teams had double-digit wins. I think I had Tampa at like 9 wins. So
yeah, I think I like Raheem Morris, but I don't know if he's the guy.
No, I don't think so.
I think he's a good defensive-minded coach. I think, got to Super Bowl with the Rams, all that stuff, but it's hard sometimes. This is an offensive-driven league, and some of your best coaches, if not most of your best coaches, are offensive-minded coaches.
The closest we've had to Super Bowls is our coaches that have come in, have rings. Dan Reeves, I mean, that's about all I can think of.
Because think about who's in the Super Bowl. You have offensive-minded Andy Reid, and Nick Sirianni, I believe, is an offensive-minded coach as well. So this is where we are in the league. So,
all right, we got more to get into. Real quick, Tim wants to know what's your take of Cooper Flag.
Ready? He's been, there's highs, there's lows. I mean, this is kind of what you expect.
He's my new number one.
Yeah.
On the draft right now. I've had Ace Bailey and I had Dylan Harper number one for a while, long while. But Cooper's taken over. So I definitely have him number one on my board. But
no, I mean, he's
talk about Duke players.
He's been, I know against Syracuse, I think he had like 11 points or something like that. But overall, there's more highs than lows. I'm pretty impressed, Rudy, and the Spurs find some way to get him, but I doubt that happening. But
Atlanta keeps losing. I mean, let's be real. They're not going to be the worst team in the league, the Hawks. They could fall in the lottery, but I don't think the Hawks are going to be the worst. I mean, Jesus Christ, the Wizards have 9 wins. Atlanta has 13 more wins than Washington does.
If Cooper Flag is a Spur, I think.
Oh my God,
this team is. You could feel the rumblings. You already feel it because of Wemby, obviously, and now Fox. But you get Flag in there to incorporate that team. You're going to sit back and say, "Uh-oh."
What day is it? It's okay. So it's February 5th, 2025, 5 55 minutes into the show, 55 and a half minutes into the show, I'm going to say this. If the Spurs lucky enough to get the first pick in this draft and get Cooper Flag, I will 100% go live and say that the NBA lottery is rigged. 100% rigged. Being I'm a Spurs fan, I love the Spurs. I will gladly go on there and say this thing is rigged. 100% rigged. I'm not going to apologize for it, because you don't apologize for winning. But I will say that that's rigged. 100% rigged. If they fall within the top 3, I'll say it's rigged.
Well, I mean, look, they've only had 3 number 1, right?
David, Tim, and Wemby.
That's a hell of. Do you know how many number 1 picks the Clippers have had? And a lot of them, if not most of them, have all been disasters.
Who was their best one? Danny Manning?
Danny Manning was actually a really good player.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Probably the best number 1 pick for the Clippers was what? Probably Danny Manning.
And he didn't even reach his full potential.
Well, injuries. I mean, Danny Manning was a guy that suffered from injuries.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, I mean, if the Spurs get a top 3 pick thanks to Atlanta, it's rigged. I'm going to say it's rigged.
And listen, I'm all for it because
I'm for it too.
You see betting, that's definitely rigged. So it's WWE all over the place.
Yeah. I've seen so much on stuff like that. Flagging Concanapo in a Spurs uniform. Nah, I don't know. I don't think they'll get Concanapo at all. I doubt that happens. But we got a couple of minutes left, Gio. Earlier today at the beginning of the show, I played a little tribute for National Girl and Women in Sports Day, which is today. And I've been lucky enough to interview and work with some women that are in sports, all across the country now, basically. It's been fun. It's been great. Who are your top female athletes when it comes to women in sports and even commentary? I mean, I used to be a big Robin Roberts fan back when she was on Sports Center. You had Linda Cohn was on Sports Center. Now you got like Michelle Beadle, who covers, who works for FanDuel and who covers the Spurs, big Spurs fan. I mean, you got a lot of great women in sports that are commentary, and then you got athletes. I mean, good God, for me, a big WNBA guy for me. So I mean, Cynthia Cooper and Tisha Penicheiro, one of my favorite point guards of all time. It just goes on and on and on, man. Who do you got?
I mean, Serena Williams is one I can think of for really a complete legend.
Maybe Simone Biles, what she's done in Olympic competition.
Simone Biles. Hey, another tennis great. We don't hear much, but Steffi Graf, Rudy, she won. She was the all-time leader in women's Grand Slam after Serena had passed her. Simone Biles.
Man, do you remember that era of tennis where it was Steffi Graf, Monica Seles? Was it Gabriela San Martini?
Yeah.
There's another one. God, that I remember.
Dude, tennis. If you look at tennis, Rudy, those 80s, even 90s, and even Met. I mean, you had Jimmy Connors, you had McEnroe, you had Borg. I mean, you had
Pete Sampras.
Yeah, Sampras. You had Agassi. And Rudy, I was in the thick of Nadal and Federer. That is, I mean, dude, those tennis matches. I started to dip once Djokovic came on board, but he's been great as well. But man, those tennis, people talk about other sports, but really a lot of the rivalries I remember were definitely in tennis. Cheryl Swoops. I mean, there's so many other WNBA players. Cheryl Miller. I mean, what she did in her time in the 80s in women college basketball, it was tremendous. There's just so many great women athletes. I mean,
yeah, 100. I mean, I totally agree, man. So many great women athletes out there. So many great women in the world of sports. So again, being that it's National Girl and Women's Day in sports, shout out to all of them out there. You continue to work hard, and you know what? you busted down doors, you busted down barriers, and I definitely respect the hell out of all y'all. Jacob Eric in here. I pulled a Coco Golf auto card just saying Coco Golf, another one, man. I mean, another young athlete that's up and coming too. So appreciate Jacob Eric sharing that there with us. But again, from where I was here at Sweep the League, we give a shout out to all the women in sports, athletes, commentator, broadcasters, wherever you are, even behind the scenes, directors, anything like that. Shout out to you girls out there. Continue to knock it out of the park. You're doing a fantastic job. Tomorrow, Thursday, it's going to be myself. It's going to be Coach Gio. Hopefully, Derek's back on the show. Super Bowl coverage is tomorrow. Gio wants the three-peat. I want Saquon to get the ring. Oh, now are you changing it now? I've already got the poster done.
I want the three-peat. I think.
Why do you want the three-peat so bad?
Rudy, it's hard for certain types of records to be broken. And not necessarily that it's a record, but a three-peat in NFL has, I believe, never happened.
Never has.
So why not, Rudy? Why not Patrick Mahomes getting that three-peat? He'll have 4 Super Bowls. And I know Tom's going to be annoyed. I just know he is. That's just who Tom is.
Why? I mean, records are meant to be broken.
Yeah, but Rudy,
unless
7.
you're Nolan Ryan.
No.
I got you there.
Dude, some records, Rudy.
Never.
I just, Ichiro got into the Hall. He had 8 years of 200 plus hit. I mean, Rudy, it's just, when you hear that, it's like, dude, I don't think that's ever going to be broken. I mean, obviously, Ohtani's great, but he's been hurt, before he got to the Dodgers. But like, some of the records never, but a three-peat is something about a three-peat. Spurs were never able to do that two-peat or even three-peat, but we saw the Lakers, the Bulls did it. Jordan did 2 three-peats. I mean, which is, and not Jordan the Bulls, but yes. But yeah, Rudy, I think it's going to be a good game. I haven't watched a lot of Super Bowl coverage. I've kind of not paid too much mind to it, but I really want Patrick to, if he can get 3 straight, man, that's going to be special. And for the Eagles, look, they beat my Rams. I don't have much love for them.
Well, like I said, to me, it's kind of Super Bowl meh this year. I'm not too excited about the game. I'm watching it because I want to see Saquon win. That's pretty much it. But tomorrow we're going to do Super Bowl coverage. We got you covered wall to wall tomorrow. What do you got?
Quick question before we leave.
Yeah.
You think Chiefs defensive front can stifle Barkley? For 2-week preparation?
I'm going to say no. Because I think we've already seen him go up some pretty good defenses and still get through on some big runs.
There's something about Steve Spagnuolo, though, in the playoffs.
Yeah, you're right.
And defenses and Chris Jones and some of the guys, Karlaftis, some of the guys they got up front. It's going to be interesting. The Chiefs do a lot of different things on defense. I'm interested to see how that kind of back and forth goes with the Chiefs offense and the Eagles defense, to see how that shifts, but then also the flip-flop. I think it's going to be a good game, Rudy. I mean, we've already seen this game before, and the Eagles had a good opportunity to win, but it's said about Patrick in the playoffs, but, we'll see.
I think the Eagles win that game if they have Saquon, and I think he's the difference maker this time, because say you stack the box against Saquon, I mean, Sirianni and the crew are pretty known to maybe move him out to the slot. So then you have an empty backfield, and having Saquon being defended by probably a linebacker, he's going to win that all day.
But I love the addition of Hopkins. That move there doesn't seem like a lot, Rudy, but Hopkins is a big time player. I know he's older and he's wiser, as they say, but I want to love to see those X's and O's and how they put certain guys in certain. I think the Chiefs are going to do a really good job trying to exploit this defense. I thought the Rams did a good job in that first half, but obviously the snow and everything But by the way, we'll give a shout out to Cooper Kupp. He will not be a Ram before the offseason. So, Coop, we love you.
Yeah.
But as someone who, as we always say, Rudy, we're real on this show, Cooper was just becoming just another guy. That's
a Jag.
He was becoming just a Jag. And I've talked to some of my friends about it. It's no, hey, I love them. Thanks for that big time Super Bowl.
You got your mic on mute by accident. Sorry.
He just hasn't been the same, Rudy. He's been hurt. I mean, it just sucks. But it's a business decision.
And to be honest, I think Cooper is going to find another home. It's going to be beneficial for him. But you're right, man. He's put up some great numbers. He's had some great seasons, but he's on the back part of his career. So, hey, tough decisions have to be made. So tomorrow we will get into Super Bowl coverage. We'll give you our picks, who's going to win, who we think is going to be Super Bowl MVP, and probably go over Super Bowl commercials, the best ones of all time. One that I can think of right off the bat, Gio, was the Eli Manning and OBJ dance from Dirty Dancing that they redid. I think that one was up there with me. I always used to love the Bud Bowl when I was a kid. The Bud Light versus Budweiser Bud Bowl commercials, but we'll talk about all those tomorrow. We're going to go into Super Bowl coverage, Chiefs versus Eagles. Hopefully Derek Green will be back tomorrow, but if not, if he's still having some technical difficulties, you will get myself, Coach Gio. Then we'll let you guys know about Friday as well. We've been doing a show Friday or taking the day off, but we'll keep you guys updated. So for Coach Gio, for Derek Gervin, it's Rudy Campos Jr. Until we sweep it again, we'll see you later, knuckleheads.
Man, he ain't done yet. This guy is from out of this world. He's gonna be an alien. What is going on? Oh my goodness, this guy is really gonna be special. Ain't nothing to it. Wemby still lit. Wemby still lit. Wemby still lit. We got dreams, hit the fast lane. Took the stairs, real pain, no fear. We steady making it clear. I'm the captain, nice to meet you, but I make chess moves, no snooze. Bless you, we turning the impossible to possible. Doing what we do, call me Wemby alien. Flow too quick, you can't see me, just saying. The only thing that is your season, come see me, trust me, we too late.